there once again, people, and welcome to yet another episode of Seeking Shamblers. This time around, we're going to be checking out the level known as Tower by Felipe G. And yeah, this is actually the third level we happen to have been checked out. This is just also known as Tower, and yeah, this is the third level made by Felipe G, as said. Now, Felipe G's levels tend to be relatively small deathmatch levels. Like, if I remember right, I want to say it was based by Felipe G. It was like a one-room map. Had like a couple structures in the middle, but really nothing. And if I'm right, Q Palace was just basically a 2-floor building with like nothing on like the upper floor. So, needless to say, his levels aren't the most exciting or the most interesting. But at the same time, it is rather early stuff usually. If I'm correct, both of those levels were made in July, I want to say. I don't remember 100%, but I believe they were in around July. And so I would assume, based on the fact that authors usually made things around like a similar era, that this one would also be around like July or early August. It would surprise me if it was like September, October. So, needless to say, this could be a little historical artifact, and therefore a little bit more interesting than it otherwise would be. Other than that, this is a relatively basic thing. It was made using Quack, of all editors. That's an editor I haven't seen in a little bit of time. He also mixed it with an MS-DOS edit. But yeah, I think Felipe G used Quack a lot. And I don't think many people use Quack. Yeah, if you look at it, it's like early people made in like July or August of 1996. But yeah, for the most part, people did not make really many maps using Quack. So this is a map made by Felipe G, though. And Felipe G generally used this type of weird stuff, because that was the stuff that was kind of available at the time. Anyway, as said, this is a Felipe G level. It therefore has single player, yes, enjoy the lighting, which means it's yet another one of those levels, like Crypto Death, like a bunch of other levels I've seen, whereby I have to use his deathmatch level as essentially a single player level. And so when I'm writing the walkthrough, I have to write it with a single player intent in mind. Why? Because his single player line says, yes, enjoy the lighting. And while it's not necessarily, true, you could always try and say, I infer it to be this way. That leads to too much of a gray area. You want it to be very accurate and very direct. So when something says yes, you go with yes. If something says no, you go with no. It makes perfect sense. It's very clear. It does not lead to any disputes whatsoever. Because the level said specifically the word yes or no. But yeah, in real retrospect, in real logic of this whole thing, it's a deathmatch level. That's really all it is. And it's basically made for 1 to 4 players, so it's relatively small too. It's been tested, more starts have been added to this one. I have no idea what the original version was like. In fact, this was a rather weird one, because while I've seen the other 2 levels by Felipe G quite often, I have never seen a third level by him. Yeah, based by Felipe G and powered by Felipe G, both were used in Aftershock and have been thrown in the Aftershock toolbots. It's been thrown in compilations, it's been thrown here, and yet I've never seen a third level by Felipe G, so rather interesting all of a sudden to have this level come out of the woodwork. But yeah, rather interested to definitely check it out. Anyway, he says, this is first map of his as of any quality. I'm rather intrigued about that one, because I wasn't really that big of a fan of his previous maps, but as said, they're made for deathmatch, and I can't really gauge too much of a deathmatch level because I don't really have anyone to play against. I could use bots, but I don't know. The feeling of a bot is not really the same. It kind of kills the purpose of like that talking between people and that communication. And at the same time, the gameplay gets kind of dull because all you're doing is respawning over and over, or killing an enemy that will respawn over and over. Either way, it's a rather mundane thing. It doesn't really feel that enjoyable. I've faced off against bots numerous times. It just isn't something that is really that good for playability, in my opinion. Anyway, build time. A full night and part of a morning, mixed in with some chatting on IRC. This is a new level from scratch, obviously. Has anyone ever used a modified level? I have yet to see a base. Modified level of somebody else. Well, actually, no. Because Basin, Entrant Basin had like that one, CWZ Basin, and then I believe there was also the Touch to Demo one, which also was based off of another level. Anyway, no bugs, none I know of, but please check it out and tell me. You could do various random stuff. He included Dalias' thing, whereby they're forbidden distribution, but that's obviously unenforceable unless you've included parts of it, so he is distributed as a map file. So that also tells you this is relatively early in the cycle, like July or something like that, because it's still including that documentation there that's saying that you need to distribute as a map file, which isn't what people did in like August or September or October, really. But maybe, who knows, Felipe G maybe was like late to the memo or something. But anyway, let's load up this map. Let's see what in God's name we're in for. It's probably just a very bare bones tower. Nothing really exciting. Oh, I still have it doing, whatchamacallit, DIAC. Basically, DIAC, if I'm right, is, oh god, what's the word for that? That's a decompiler. I was basically looking into some closed source things and trying to find a way to rip it apart, so therefore, we kind of get that working. But yeah, DIAC is not really going to help us when it comes to recording, now is it? Like I said, it'll be much, much better once I can compartmentalize it all, once I get to the days of GL Quake. That'll be nice, but for now, we're kind of stuck at DOS bots. You know, because that's really the only thing that really exists in 96, and I'm trying to be authentic and close enough to it. I know it's not exact because DOS bots, but at the same time, it's still close. It's still better than, you know, just loading up some random source port and going from there. It feels a little bit more true to it, I guess you could say. But here we are, tower. Oh my god, this is a horrible tower. Look at that. That's not even a really full tower, people. This is mostly just like one structure in a giant map. This makes Cubase look complex. Look at that. Look at that. That's not really a tower, is it? I mean, this isn't even 2 stories. This is like a garage level and an upper level of a house. This isn't a tower at all. Like, should a tower be going up to there or something? It should be rather impressive to look at. Instead, like I said, this is like a 2-story house. But okay, we run in this corner, we have some yellow armor. Amazing. That way I have armor to protect myself. And in the various corners you have random garbage, like this grenade launcher, which allows you to kick butt. You can run all the way to the opposite side of this map where you get the nail gun. And in the 4th corner, it looks like you have absolutely freaking nothing. What an amazing balance, people. We just went from 3 sides with stuff to 1 side without anything. That's exciting. You can run underneath the tower. There's nothing under here, you know. So one of the 2 floors is entirely useless. Always exciting to know. You have an underneath the staircase, so that doesn't also offer anything. I guess we'll go upstairs, up this very inconvenient to walk staircase. Because you actually have to jump up each step. He didn't make a normal staircase, people. He made steps so you have to jump up each step for. But as you can see, up here is the grand rocket launcher. Makes sense that this would kind of be more out of the way, thankfully. But yeah, that's basically the entire level. A rocket launcher, a nail gun, a grenade launcher, and some armor. That's everything in this freaking level. That was horrible. This was absolutely horrible, people. Why is this a level? Seriously, why release this to the internet? I guess it's, like I said, it's the whole July thing. It was released in the early period of Quake mapping, and it's one of those levels just to say, I made a level. But then again, didn't Felipe G make 2 other levels? Why did he need to make a 3rd level like this? Was this his first true level? I don't know. Like I said, this one feels more basic than those levels were. I'm hoping that this is his first level chronologically or something, because if it isn't, this is rather depressing to look at. This is really, really bare bones. Like, I don't really mess around much with Quake mapping, but I think I can make something like this relatively easily. Then again, using Quack, which was the editor. I have no idea what Quack is like. So maybe it's a lot more complex to use Quack. I have no idea. But yeah, the end result of this is not really that exciting. Like I said, honestly, he did a lot more, at least a bit more, with bass. At least that one had like a monorail track and little things that it seemed like he was trying. And Cute Palace, at least, was a bigger structure than this one. It had more to it. And yeah, then you have this one, which is kind of just there. Needless to say, worst map I've seen by Felipe G. And that's saying something because I wasn't really a fan of his other maps. Anyway, I'm really bored here. This is a really pointless level. Thank y'all for watching, and I guess I'll see you all, hopefully, in something a little bit better. See you all then!